starting from like Synth cookie this time. I want to add a piano roll to the instrument. I personally want to do the least UI coding possible. I'm gonna go for a table. I create a span element in each instrument. So when you click the piano roll button, it'll add the table for rolls to that span. So first we're gonna want to get the instrument. Then I'm gonna use query selector to get the class, which I think I called piano roll. Then I'm gonna use a for loop. Yeah, okay, this is an add, this is insert. And okay, this looks accurate. I just don't have any formatting on the table. So just pop in style. So then when I say this in the style, it makes some borders show up, but they're really tiny. So let's add some width to them, 20 pixels. All right, now that looks more appropriate. Also, I don't like the spaces between them. Say border spacing here, I can set that to 0 pixels. Oh, that doesn't look good either. I'll just put the borders on 2 of the sides and not all of them. And that's almost good. Now it looks like a grid once I added a border to the bottom and left of the whole table. But also, right, I said this is 16 subdivisions, but we need maybe one more column to tell us which node is which. So p width plus 1. Hard code in the black keys. Then if it's the first column, then we'll add the class to the p row. So then I can add a black square class. Background color is black. Okay, well, almost. I added it to the TR, not the TD. That's probably better. There. And then another if statement in here for the black keys one, because that way then I can do an else. Else it's a white square. Yeah, so then this else, you know, I'm gonna call it empty square. Now these are potentially selectable, and so then if you hover over it, we'll have it highlight what you're doing. What is it, like colon hover? Is that how that works? Oh, that is how that works. Oh, hey, wait, I got these notes backwards. There. So when you click set attribute on click, and then, yay, okay, good. But we have to know our row number as well as our column number. There, so now we can get row column. That's 0, 1. This is 11, 16. All right, so yeah, I need a special function. So not console.log. Select piano square. So now let's make a function. Now that we have the cell, we can take the class list and we can remove empty square because it's no longer empty. And now we can turn it into filled square. All right, so now I've got a filled square. So I click, it changes to magenta. Great, but we're probably gonna want some kind of internal representation of this. So I guess we're gonna have piano rolls, which is an array. And so like with everything else, we got to give it an initial value. You have to get rid of the piano roll if you get rid of the thing. And the thing is that we want it to be an empty cell, that the array ij is equal to 0. And that'll just give us an empty array of all zeros. So then when you go and select the square, we want to modify that. We don't want to do row column. The dimensions don't line up, right? We added 1 to it. Also, the columns are kind of in reverse. And we're going to set that to 1. What would happen if you clicked on one that was already activated? You want to deactivate it. So we check if this equals 0 first. If it does, we do this. Otherwise, we do the opposite. And we bring it back to 0. Okay, yeah, I'm able to select things and I'm able to deselect things. I think every 4 bars, I kind of want like a bigger bar. If j mod 4 is equal to 1, I'll add a class on bar, border left, 1 pixel, solid black. Makes it easier to track things on a beat. If I want it to be a complete octave, I probably want to go 1 more up too. So the p height is now 13 actually. So that's a complete octave. It might be good to have a play button. Just have a variable called rolls playing. And I'll just set that to true. And when I want to stop playing, just set rolls playing equal to false. I'll set the measure length to be 2 seconds. So let me add that input right now. And then do on change, input change. So this dot value followed by SPM. SPM for seconds per measure, measure length, so that's number of the value. So that's going to be our timer. I'll call it bar counter. Okay, so set the bar counter equal to 0 when you start playing, so that way it's going to start. So we already have update buffer running 30 times a second. I'm not sure if that's going to be accurate enough for doing music. All right, you know what? I'll just have a function called roll updater every 10 milliseconds, so that's 100 times per second. All right, so let me make the roll updater. Are the rolls playing? Because if the rolls aren't playing, we don't do anything. Then I guess we iterate through the piano rolls. Want to increase the bar counter, get number of divisions, but I'm just assuming that's 16. We also would do measure length multiplied by the RUPS, and that would give us updates per measure. So then you do UPM divided by 16, and then that's going to be, I don't know, div at. If we were to modulate the bar counter by the division at percent or whatever, we check to see if that's 0. Play note right now takes in a note. So if we want the note to play, we give it a key and we give it a length. I'm just gonna set a default value for play note and just have it be empty. If empty, then the note length is equal to this whole thing. If I make these changes, I'll be able to use the play note, put in whatever note length I want, but we still have to get it to be using the right instrument. It looks at the instrument, which is the instrument selected, the key set using. Okay, so I need to set the key set using equal to the current instrument, which is I, but before that, let's save the key set using. When we're done, we set key set using back to the old key set. And then we can play the note. Which note do we play? We need to know the index number. Then we would just say offset plus, well, actually we need to determine the note first. So now we've got to loop through our rows and figure out if there's a note there. Bar counter divided by div at, parse synth at, and that's our division index. You know, I don't like div at actually. I'll call it bar counter per division, whatever. Now, if the division index is greater than or equal to the number of divisions, then just continue with the for loop from up above. So that just keeps it in bounds. Now we're going to go through each of the rows. Piano rolls I dot length. We iterate through all of the rows of the piano roll, checking for notes. If piano rolls I, J, div index is greater than 0, because if it's 0, it's empty, play the note, and this is where I use the offset, and then I add whichever row we're on, which is J, and then note length, measure length, divided by the number of divisions. Let's go see if that works. Nothing happened. Oh, we never did AC in it. So on play rolls, I want to initialize the sound because you need to interact with the page in order to play sound on web pages. Let's see what happens. Oh, I forgot to make it loop, didn't I? It's not on time. So, I mean, that's what rounding errors do for you, because 12 times 16 is 192. As opposed to 12.5 times 16, which is 200. We end up with half an extra division, and that's why it's offbeat. All right, new plan. How about we multiply these things, then multiply our bar counter by our number of divisions, and then modulate that by UPM. What? What did I just do? So instead of equal to 0 is less than the number of divisions. And then how do we get the index? Well, we'd say take this right here and then parse into it. And then that's our division index. And that should even it out. What did I just type and how did I figure that out? Before, all of the gap was happening at the end, but now I've evened it out within the pieces. It's kind of like if you want a character to move 2.5 pixels per second, one frame you'd move it 2, and the next frame you'd move it 3, and then that would make it move 2.5 pixels per second, even though it can only move an integer number of pixels. So that's kind of the same thing I'm doing here. And then I can edit it in live in real time too. And then let's move it all an octave down. Oh, it's not even using my instrument. Okay, that's wrong. So why is it using the wrong instrument? Because the key set is just which key set you're using. We need to change the actual instrument that you're using as well. We've got to go into the instrument selected, get what we were using, and then change that to our value, which is I. Once we're done, we change it back. Okay, so you know what? I think it might be a good idea to add like a stop button. So I'm giving an ID to that button, When you click the element, now you can get the element by the ID. I changed the onClick to be stop rolls instead of start rolls. And then I changed the button to say stop rolls. When you do stop it later, I'm just gonna change it back to the reverse. And then I can hit stop and it stops, and it didn't change the value to say play rolls again. Why did it not do that? Oh, because it never got the identification. Okay, right. Alright, cool, it's working. When you click piano roll again, it just actually deletes everything, because I think clicking piano roll initializes the piano roll. I want to just make the piano roll button change to hide. So I'm just going to make a new function down here called hide piano roll. So now I've got PR button, which is the button itself, and then I can change the value to say hide roll, and I can change the on click. Change this to say show roll, or actually I'll just change it to say piano rolls, so from the user side point of view it'll look the same. And then I'll say .style.display is equal to none. Click hide roll, it hides. If I click piano roll, it shows again. For convenience, I'm going to turn the piano roll into its own object. I guess when you initialize it, it'll just have roll data, and it also using roll. So here I've got the initialize piano roll function. I'm just going to copy this code, get rid of the initialize piano roll function, and I'm just going to call this new roll object. And then I'm pasting that in here. And why don't we initialize it with a height and a width, which we can then save to this dot height, this dot width. Okay, so then that's how I modified the roll object. So initialize it with 1316. Now I've got to add a little bit to this. I've got to say piano rolls dot instrument number dot roll data height. That should be width over here. Okay, cool. I want to say whether we're using the piano roll or not. Let me add a new input here of the type checkbox. So let's just make the on change just feed into input change, piano rolls, the instrument index dot using roll equals the value. And then we have to actually use the using roll property. When we actually iterate through each piano roll, I need to check if they're playing. So we'd say if piano rolls I dot using roll, because I don't want to indent this again, because then it would be more indented. I'm just going to say continue and make this a not. It doesn't do anything because it's not playing. Check it, it plays. Uncheck it, stops. Now I guess I could at this point make it so that you have more options, like maybe the ability to scroll up and down, or to change the measure length, the number of subdivisions, make it so you can play longer notes, but I don't feel like it. What probably is important is getting this into the save load. There was an addition to the save load feature that I wanted to add too, though. I wanted to add a save slot, so that way you could have multiple saves. So we make a save slot variable, initialize it to 1, and then add that to the input changed function. And in this case, I'm going to parse int it, and when I go and do the set cookie, I'm going to add a dash, and I'm going to plus, and I'm going to add save slot so that it appends save slot to the end of it. And then when I go and load, same deal, and then that will let you be able to save multiple slots. Let me add piano rolls to the save data, and then when we load it, we'll get it back. And also, if you did want to use a key value system with this, JavaScript does have this neat feature where you can just put curly braces, and then down here when you load it, if you put var, and then you'd have to change all these names because all these have already been declared, but you could load it back that way with curly braces. But I'm not doing that. Anyway, now I just have to be able to render the piano rolls when they're loaded. We're going to want to just run the add piano roll function. I'll make a similar function to the select piano square, but I'm going to call it restore piano square. Yeah, so if it's greater than 0, we remove empty square, we add filled square. For loop here. I've got to have that triply nested for loops. Those are the best. Okay, then I drop in the restore piano roll in here, IJK, which will restore all the piano squares. Put on the piano roll, make a simple roll, and now let me save, hit load, and it loaded properly with things filled in. Alright, now time to make something wacky. Oh, I forgot a feature. I forgot about the seconds per measure. This one should be pretty easy to save and load in. Yeah, let me just add in measure length. That's sec measure dot value equals measure length. Now the seconds per measure is loaded, and I could make something wacky in here. Am I done yet?